I'm feeling good. It's nice. Last spring I wasn't going full speed or at all. I was in the pit over there. It's nice to be out here, throwing with the guys.
How are the quarterbacks acclimating? You guys look like you're throwing the ball well.
Yeah, I think we are. Everybody. It was a different. We had a QB battle last year with Dwayne, Joe, and Tate.
Yep.
Really Dwayne and Joe, and so it's a different thing. Those were more veteran guys, and we've got a younger group now. I'm technically the most veteran guy. At least I've been here the longest. I don't stay. I know Chris is older, but it's a different dynamic than it was last year.
But it's still a battle, right?
It is.
Yeah, everybody wants to start, right?
For sure, yeah. The best player's going to play, and they're going to play the best player here.
And when Justin transferred in, your thought was?
Well, I've never been afraid of competition. I know that he's got a lot of, I'd say, hype around him, but he's lived up to it. Everything I've seen about him, throwing with him, before spring started and even in spring, he's living up to it. Yeah. He's a great player. It's awesome to be able to compete against a guy like that, kind of measure up. But it's been great.
You run the quarterback room now? Is the old guy in there? Is that how it works?
I wouldn't say that. Joe kind of had that effect last year. He was a funny guy, kind of kept it light. But I wouldn't say I run it. We're all equal. Yeah.
Who throws the better ball?
I'm not going to say anything. That's up to you guys.
You had some nice throws today. How do you feel like, at least when we were out there, you were throwing some really good balls? How do you feel like you performed today?
I felt good. I think I perform best is when, we're into it. We're either in team or 7-on-7 when it's competitive, and I'm not thinking too much. Sometimes when I get out there and I think too much, I can, overstride or not throw, just let it loose. And so I like it when we're into it, and I play better than that.
You mentioned last spring how you had to sit out because of the ACL. When were you finally 100%? Was it somewhere during the season itself?
Mm-hmm. It was probably about 6 or 7 games into the season that I felt 100%. I could have played earlier, I think. Coach Day was in the 4th game, I think it was Tulane. He said I probably could have played in that game, but I wasn't 100%.
Are you sensing this will probably go into fall camp?
Yeah, that's not for me to say
Sure.
or know, but
yeah.
Garrett Wilson had some really nice things to say about you. Just if you could speak more about your relationship with Garrett, and that's got to be nice to have someone from your top receiver from high school here with you.
It's awesome. Every time I see him out there, I'm cheering for him. Obviously you guys have seen him out there too. He's making a name for himself already. I'm trying to get him. Last year we had only one early enrollee get their stripe off. It was Tommy. I'm trying to get Garrett to be the one guy this year who gets it off in the spring. It's really hard to do, but he started off on a really good foot.
Matthew, when you come to a program, do you project at all what the quarterback situation might look like for the next 2 or 3 years, and then when it changes pretty drastically the way this one did after 1 year here, how do you process all that?
Yeah, well, that's part of making your decision. I think is that if you're going to have a chance to compete and play, and that's something I definitely thought I had when I was coming in here. And you're right, it is a different thing when they bring in guys, but every coach is going to do that. If there's a chance to get a really good player, they're going to go out and get them. And so, that's just something that you have to accept and move forward.
Justin, most people would assume that Justin came here because he thinks he has a chance to start. And I think most people on the outside would assume that he would be the starter. Mm-hmm. I know you don't assume that, but I don't know. Do you take it personally at all? Is it when they essentially recruit a guy to come in over you?
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Well, he probably went to Georgia with that same mindset. He's going to come in and start, and Jake Fromm held him off, and so he has his strengths and his weaknesses. I have my strengths and weaknesses. I'm glad I get to compete against a guy like that. No one wants to be handed things. I don't think you don't feel like you earned it, and you're not going to be handed things here. So I never expected that coming in.
Do you feel like equal chance to compete for the job because of the hype around him right now?
Yes, for sure. Well, Coach Day is the one who specifically came out and recruited me. Ohio State was my first Division I, big time offer. And so Coach Day found me, and he believes in me, with all of his heart. And so I trust him.
Did your mindset at all change when Fields came here instead of you? At first, you thought it was going to be a competition with you and Tate, and all of a sudden, you and a guy, a 5-star recruit coming from another place. Did your mindset change at all?
I think Tate was also a 5-star, so I knew, no matter what, you're going to be competing against someone good here, right? I think I was kind of chasing Tate. I think that was kind of my position, so I had a fire under me, and then now Tate leaves and Justin comes, so I guess he's kind of chasing me, or we're kind of fighting each other. So it is different, but I think I have the same motivation.
You don't feel like you're chasing in this spring?
I don't think so, no. We started off equal.
What's been your biggest challenge coming back from the injury? What's your biggest obstacle to getting back to where you want to be?
Yeah, well, one of Coach Day's biggest selling points is when you throw, you get all your power from the ground. And so, I've had to relearn how to use my leg, because sometimes when I would just start working back into throwing, when I would push off, it would feel loose or just not as strong. And so I've really had to work on that a lot with our trainers. Stu has been so great with me, and so we've gotten that going again.
Matt, where are you at health-wise? How much more are you able to do now that you're kind of a full year back now? Can you kind of just give us an update on that?
Yeah, well, I feel pretty much 100% right now. I think the only thing, my body I'd say is 100%. The only thing now is confidence, like sometimes when I run, I might just subconsciously when I'm trying to cut left, not like plan as hard on my right leg, just, not me thinking about it, just it happens. And that's just something, that takes time.
What was last spring like for you coming back from the injury? How much were you able to do then?
Well, I was in the pit over there. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's where the injured guys work out over there. It's generally not a very happy place. But so yeah, I got worked out over there, and so I didn't get to do much. It was all mental, trying to learn the stuff. And mental reps are awesome, and that's how you really learn when you can't play. But you can't really know an offense until you're in it playing. And I learned that in the season when I actually was getting reps. The offense just started clicking.
How much were you kept in the loop by the coaches with Justin Fields and his decision to transfer?
Yeah, well, Coach Day is honesty is one of his most important parts, and that's always been here. And so throughout the whole process, he was letting me know what's happening. I wasn't going to find out on Twitter about anything, something like that. He was letting me know.
When you were deciding to come to Ohio State, did you anticipate the second year would be the year that you started competing for the job? Like in your mind, was this always, regardless of who else was here, that you'd be in this position?
Yeah, well, I think I'd like to make a name for yourself as a college, and I think. Dwayne, and I'm trying to say I think the longer the start you start, so I'd say yes to that. Sorry, I'm trying to say the longer, if you have 2 or 3 year starter like Baker Mayfield, for instance, he started 3 or 4 years at Oklahoma. He's a legend there. I think if Dwayne had started 2 or 3 years here, he would just be so, he's already what he is. But the longer you start, so obviously when I get here, I want to start as soon as possible so you can start making a name for yourself.
Along those lines, though, you showed a great deal of patience in high school, waiting your turn until your senior year. Can you afford to show the same level of patience in college because of what you just said?
Well, it is different, because you're fighting for, I think. But, Mitch Trubisky is a great example. He only started 1 year, right? And he was, a top 3 pick? I can't really remember. Number two. And so I think patience is a very valuable thing. And, if you're in the right place, I think you can get to where you want to be from anywhere.
Hey, Matt, just the little that we get to see you guys throw, I'd say there was a much better performance today than Wednesday for you. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not.
Yeah.
Were there nerves on Wednesday? It's just a different vibe for you.
I think so. And that's what I was saying earlier is sometimes, me and my mom, we always said we think so much. My dad and my sister are different, but we think so much. It can be a good and a bad thing. So sometimes at the beginning of practice where I'm not just, flowing, letting it loose, and I think too much and I don't just, throw it. And so I think I got into it faster today and I just let it loose.
Does it, does it feel different that you've already been through one practice? I mean, it's such a small sample size, I know, but to go out and just, first one's out of the way.
Yeah, that was definitely comforting. All the newness, all the the jitters are kind of worn off, and you're getting into the group with your guys. You're all on the same team. You're all pushing towards the same thing.
Matt, how much does it matter that you had a year to sort of marinate in this offense, and does that help you out here? And then I guess just in general, how do you think you're better now from a year ago, both in terms of your knowledge and also physically and the things you're able to do?
This time last year, Coach Day used to say to meetings, when he was teaching me the offense, it's kind of like Chinese. You don't really know what's going on until you're on the field getting it. So I've grown, I think, as far as mentally knowing the playbook, and then as far as my leadership role, I've had to step up. I was kind of forced into that role so quickly because, we lost Dwayne, Joe was here last year, Tate was here, so we lost our 3 veteran guys, they're gone. Now I'm the guy who's been here the longest. So, that did happen fast, but I think I've stepped into it.
You feel in terms of ability to throw the ball and athleticism and stuff, just how much has that improved for you over last year?
Oh, it's huge. Coach Mick is the best in the business. I think he's the best strength coach. I think we have the best staff here, and it's hard to debate that, everything we've done. And so he's got me right in the weight room and just preparing my body to, getting this leg strong so I can take some of that pressure off the ACL and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Thanks.